In the past, the study of adolescence often focused on the problems of youth. Things like teen pregnancy, juvenile delinquency, and bad grades. Programs for young people were set up to target these problems. But in the 1990s, academics began seeing limitations to programs that focused only on the negative aspects of adolescence. The academic conversation shifted. Instead of focusing on problems of youth, they began looking at how young people developed within their surrounding environments. Out of this shift came a new type of program, Positive Youth Development. Positive Youth Development, or PYD, focuses on the strengths of young people. It engages them with the community by fostering positive relationships, supporting activities that build life skills, and providing opportunities to actually put those skills into practice. Positive Youth Development seeks to recognize and enhance a young person's strengths. These strengths are called external and internal assets. External assets are family support, a positive school environment, and good peer influences. Internal assets are things like honesty, responsibility, school engagement, and self-esteem. So how do you build young people's assets? We approach this task by considering the 5 C's: competence, confidence, connection, character, and compassion. The 5 C's can be improved a number of ways. One way to build competence is to help a young person explore their interests and find what excites them. Connect them with resources as you support their interests. Build confidence by encouraging young people to try new things. Although this opens the door for failure, mistakes can become teachable moments of self-improvement. Build connection by finding opportunities for a young person to have an independent voice, interact with others, and develop their own relationships within a community. Build character by demonstrating your own values while involving young people in decision-making and problem-solving. We believe that by modeling honesty and respect, you can encourage the development of compassion, express warmth, and believe in young people. And so, with an approach to youth development that focuses on positive development through the 5 C's, you can help young people build on their strengths. You can recognize external assets like family support, a positive school environment, and good peer influences. You can foster internal assets like honesty, responsibility, school engagement, and self-esteem. A positive youth development approach helps young people develop multiple strengths that will benefit them over a lifetime.
Area of community development, we choose youth development over gender equality. Libraries, educational facilities, school, house of worship, and community centers are examples of physical assets that will undoubtedly aid the community in the Youth Development Project, which aims to improve the lives of children and adolescents by meeting their physical development and social needs, as well as assisting them in developing the competence necessary of becoming a successful adult. Physical assets of youth development include facilities, collections, software, information sources, and so on. Youth listening sessions, or also known as YLS, are an example of other resources for adolescents' development because they provide an opportunity to actively engage youth, convey that their perspectives are valuable, and include their voices into programming. Youth development programs are beneficial because they protect physical and psychological safety. They can provide safe facilities and encourage healthy practices that increase safe peer group interaction while reducing unsafe or confrontational peer interactions. In addition, a youth development program is critical since it establishes the necessary structure. This method entails selecting activities and practices that correspond to the developmental stage of the youth. Programs can also work with youth to establish clear and consistent norms and expectations, as well as age-appropriate monitoring. It also fosters cooperative partnerships, caring connections, provide social support, encourage healthy dialogue, and offer helpful advice. The connections between youth and adults, as well as among young people are an example of these partnerships. Why is profiling needed to be done before planning for a project? Profiling is required prior to project planning since project planning is critical in guiding stakeholders, sponsors, teams, and project manager through other project phases. To establish desired goals, manage risk, and avoid missed deadlines, and finally produce the agreed upon product, service, or outcome, planning is required. Project performance will surely suffer without careful planning. Breaking down a larger project into tasks, forming a project team, and determining a timetable during which the project will be accomplished are all part of project planning. What are the information that will matter in the profiling? Information that will matter in the profiling is the planning technique for dates and costs. It employs broad estimates for costs and income in profiling because the project profile incorporates default values and other control factors. It is assumed that applicants will make every reasonable attempt to gather precise cost and income information when creating a very detailed project, such as including yields and prices. Background information is also important for profiling, as it provides general information about the applicants, the project's location and characteristics, as well as brief summary of a project's objectives and justification, including the demand expected for the project's product or services when it is operational. Third question: what skills needed to be able to conduct a good community profiling? An in-depth understanding of policies that affect target groups, excellent written and oral communication skills, including report, writing, commitment, and enthusiasm, good leadership, motivational and organizational skills, and the ability to work both independently and in team are all required to conduct a good community profiling. These skills are critical in assisting our community in effectively sharing knowledge and resources, establishing new services, raising public awareness about important issues, assessing community needs, and establishing resources to meet them, attending meetings and presenting verbal and written reports, managing finance and payroll, and submitting funding applications. Task card number 3. Community Needs Assessment. 1. What is a needs assessment? Due to its location in the densely populated city with 1,000 households, Barangay A requires an assessment. 60% of the population is under the age of 18. More than half of those who started high school never finished, and 10,000 never finished primary school. Development needs, recreational facilities, and certain career opportunities are the things that we can help the town. Barangay A needs assessment to determine the community's strengths and resources for children, youth, and families. It establishes a framework for creating and recognizing services and solutions, as well as communities that assist and nurture children and their families. Second question: why is it necessary prior to the creation of a community action plan? It is required prior to the action plan since it aids in preparation of a community building action plan. They assist a community in prioritizing needs and internalizing the duties for implementing those demands. A community action plan serves as a framework for carrying out actions that the community has decided on. The action plan assists individuals in taking practical and specific measures towards participatory development planning in order to improve services that are relevant to them. This technique raises awareness of the talents and resources already available in the community by bringing everyone together who think about and discuss resources and group involvement. And lastly, third question: how will you assess the needs of a community? We will examine the community's needs by gathering data on the community's requirements and problems through profiling. We will understand what is lacking in the community as well as their strengths and weaknesses as a result of this. We will learn more about the local needs as we collect data. It is the gap between what services should exist in a community and what should exist. As in the case of Barangay A's community problem, the majority of people in their neighborhood did not complete their education.